Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. It's the end of the year, and I was reflecting back on all the cool things I've gotten to do and shoot this year. In today's video, I want to tell you guys about the 6 coolest guns I have purchased in 2023. Now, I also sold some guns, somewhat regrettably, but I have picked up a couple super cool ones. These are in no particular order of chronology when I bought them throughout the year, or hierarchy as far as how well I like them. I like all of these guns quite a bit, and that's why we're talking about them today. So the first one I'll show you is the one that's riding on my hip at the moment. This is the CZ P10F. We are clear. This is the optics ready version, obviously. I've got the Holosun 407C riding on top of it here. I've also got a Streamlight TLR1 HL on the front, and that goes well with my T-Rex Arms Ragnarok holster. I probably paid a little bit too much for this. Not probably, I really did. But I bought it from a local shop that I'd been looking in for a while, from a guy who's always got some cool things in the shop, and it was a good opportunity to buy something from him. The P10F is one of the nicest shooting, full-size, striker-fired, polymer frame handguns I have ever shot. And I like it quite a bit. This particular one I was able to get with the blacked out rear and the front night sight, which is a combination I don't think CZ sells anymore, which is a shame. I was just looking on their gun builder earlier, and they've got a couple different sighting options, including some target rear sights, but the night sight is not one of those options. I think they have a fiber optic that they're offering now for a small upcharge. It's no secret that I am a CZ fan. I talk about CZs, especially the P10 line, all the time. I think they are one of the best handguns you can get for the money. Right now, you can get a bare bones P10F for between $350 and $400. And that gets you a 19+1 capacity in a platform that is fairly soft recoiling, has a nice high bore axis, and is a ton of fun to shoot. I have planned on shooting carry optics with this handgun, and I probably will at some point, though I have not gotten a chance to yet. Next, we'll talk about the gun I've been carrying for the last few months. If you watch the channel, you know that I normally carry a SIG P365 XL in an appendix carry holster, but this year I was looking for something with a longer slide. Enter the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus Performance Center 4-inch. Yes, that's a mouthful, but I was looking at a Glock 48, and we'll again check that this is empty, and it is. Prepared for this video, I normally carry it with Speer Gold Dot 124 grain, but we're empty right now. Like I said, I was initially looking for a Glock 48, and while I don't hate the Glock 48, this was in the shop used for about 500 bucks the same day that I was going to look at the Glock 48. It's got a 4-inch barrel, a marvelous trigger, fairly light, nice, quick, short, forceful reset. This thing is the fastest, softest shooting, and most comfortable to carry 4-inch gun that I have ever shot. I've got a few gripes with it, including my normal gripe about no texture up here, but the texture on the rest of it is fairly good. The other gripe is where my middle finger is used to falling on the grip with SIGs. You see there's a trigger guard in the way. Your hand kind of has to bend way out of the way to get around that trigger guard, and that is because this section of the gun isn't quite as narrow as the P365 series. That's not a knock on the Smith & Wesson. Again, this is the gun I've been carrying for several months now, and I like it a lot. I've been carrying it in a JM Custom Kydex Wing Claw 2.0 appendix holster. This is the one without the bulge or anything on the back. This thing makes carrying a 4-inch gun very comfortable. I have driven about 16 hours with this in the appendix position just this last week, and I did not feel the need to take it off or adjust it on my waistband any. I'm going to do a full video talking about this carry package at some point, but this is slick. I plan to get one of these holsters for my 365 XL as well for when I want to carry something that's just a little bit shorter. Again, like I say, this thing shoots super well. I would rather fiber optic, or I would rather night sights than the fiber optics it comes with, but we do have red in the back and green in the front, making for a nice, really quick to acquire sight picture. Again, I would rather a blacked out rear and a front night sight, but this setup works pretty well. The Shield 4-inch also comes in a ported model and an optics ready model. The trouble is the optics ready model only comes with a Crimson Trace red dot that I don't want to pay for because I don't want a Crimson Trace red dot. I would like to put a Holosun 407 or 507K on here. I think that's the nomenclature for the super thin one, and I may get this sent off at some point to have that done. For capacity, I've got the flush fitting 10 round magazine in here right now, but I do occasionally carry it with the 13 round magazine that has the pinky extension built in. That one actually still conceals pretty darn well, especially if I'm wearing a little bit looser shirt. And again, with this JM Custom Kydex holster, carrying this thing is no problem whatsoever. So that's number 2 on the list for today. Great handgun. Let's try 50 yards here. One of the easiest compact guns to shoot at this distance. Next handgun on this list is another one I was able to pick up used. This is my very first centerfire revolver. Now I say centerfire because I do have a black powder revolver that I haven't gotten around to making a video on that I got a few months before this one. But this is a Smith & Wesson Model 66 in .38 Special and .357 Magnum. Like I say, I found it used. I think I paid about $700 for this at my local gun shop. This is one of the several good used gun finds I found this year. But got a 6-shot capacity, and you can see it's very dirty right now because I've been shooting it. It's got a windage and elevation adjustable rear sight, and you can see the orange blade up here. Super nice shooting setup. And this one has the wide target trigger blade on there. When I got it, it had a set of wood grips on it that had kind of a weird extra bit in the back here and made my hand ride up a little bit higher than I'd like. And it wasn't the nicest for shooting full power Magnum loads. So I swapped it out for a set of Hogue rubber grips, and I'm really liking these a lot. Of course, the wood grips look a little prettier, but these are a little bit more utilitarian. I've mostly shot .38 Special cast loads through it so far, but I have messed around with some full power 158 grain 357 Magnum loads, and it handles those really nicely, though it does give a little bit of a punch in the hand. I am not a great revolver shooter yet. I'm still getting used to it, but it has been a ton of fun so far. And I'm jerking them way low every time. There we go. Super light recoil, of course, with .38 Special. Yep, all right. If you guys want to see some reloading for .38 Special or 357 Magnum, let me know. That's something we may do in the future here on the channel. But anyway, there is that, the Smith & Wesson Model 66, and I believe this is a -2. It is 66-2. I do not remember off the top of my head what production year this was, but if I'm remembering right, it was sometime in the 80s. Handgun number 4 for this list is one of my favorite handguns, though I don't shoot it quite as well as the P10F. This is the Beretta 92G Elite LTT from Langdon Tactical. This one, again, I'll show clear here. This one has the NP3 coating on the external components, slide parts, hammer, that sort of thing. And it has an amazing super short trigger, very short reset. And I mean, this is the shortest reset I've ever had on a handgun. That's it right there. I do have a full review up on this video where you guys can see me shooting it rather poorly. But I have enjoyed shooting this gun quite a bit this year. I did replace the thin grip panels with a set of Palm Swell Valachi grips from, I think these are Lock grips. I wouldn't swear to that. I'm pretty sure they're Palm Swell Valachi grips from Lock grips. Like these a lot. They fill up my hand really nicely. I cannot seem to keep a front fiber optic sight in this thing. I have replaced it 3 times now and followed the instructions to the T every time, and it shakes loose after just a couple of magazines. I may have to try to find maybe a different batch of fiber optic rods that's maybe a little less brittle. I don't know. That might be on my installation, but that's been my experience so far. Super fun handgun to shoot, butter smooth action, and this thing's dirty. I've put a couple thousand rounds through this and only very lightly cleaned it. It is a double single action. I don't think I mentioned that. And the double action on this is a thing of beauty. Very smooth and light for a double action trigger anyway. That is gonna wrap it up for the handgun section in this video. I'm gonna have to hurry up here because the light is fading quickly. Got 2 rifles to show you in this video. This one you've seen if you watch the channel. This is my Swiss K31 chambered in 7.5 by 55 Swiss, of course. This is a straight pull bolt action with a removable box magazine that holds, I believe, 6 rounds. And I have had an absolute blast shooting this rifle this season. It has sight graduations that are extremely easy to read, quick to flip to, and I've had really good luck shooting this out to 600 yards. This year I got into vintage military open sight shooting matches, and this gun was perfect.
Oh, bottom edge? Okay.
Are they keeping the same category?
7 o'clock, right on the edge. No paint between the targets and the...
Okay.
I had to get 2, and now I'm done much with it.
Yeah.
I've had it for about 20 years, truthfully.
Well, I'm at a point.
I see that. Right about...
Okay.
That's
kind of one of the next ones I want to piddle around.
Swedish Mauser.
I can barely see it. I'm going to go for that third one.
Yeah, it's hard to say that.
3, 4, and 5.
up.
They didn't change it. The 17 was always considered a vintage rifle. Some high
Coolers, sure.
Good hit.
I'm done.
Right there.
Okay.
Oh, keep going.
It helped me place in those matches a couple of times, though I don't remember what my placing was. I did also get 3rd place in the championship match this year, but that was with my M1 Garand. But anyway, it is a beautiful Swiss rifle, and I have enjoyed the heck out of it. Cool piece of history on these guns: if you remove the butt plate, you'll often find a tag written by the soldier who owned it or carried it in Switzerland. Today was the first day I actually remembered to pop the butt plate off and see, and indeed, I'll put a picture up on the screen here so you can see that tag. That's pretty neat. I'll be looking up that particular gentleman at some point and seeing if I can find anything about him or his service online. Kind of a long shot, but who knows? I won't show it to you here, and it's not a part of the list, but I have also acquired this year a Swiss K11, and it's a really special K11. You guys are gonna wanna check out the video on that when it comes out, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and there'll be a video Coming on that hopefully in the first half of 2024. And last but certainly not least, this is the Howa Mini Action in 6.5 Grendel. This one is loaded, so let me unload it real quick. And it's loaded because I've been deer hunting with it this year. If you guys haven't yet, check out my last video on hunting with the Barnes 120 grain TSX. And if you're interested in the load development side of things, check out the previous video on this gun where I actually developed this load. Anyway, the Howa Mini is a gun I've had my eye on for a while, in part because it is one of the only shortened action 6.5 Grendel rifles available, and it's got a pretty good reputation for accuracy, a good trigger, and it comes with a threaded barrel from the factory. You'll see on here I've got my rugged Razor 762 suppressor on here, and I've been shooting this rifle exclusively with the suppressor because suppressed deer hunting is a thing of beauty, and if you haven't tried it yet, please do. I have made a few changes to this rifle this year. I put the Jefferson Outdoors hinged floor plate bottom metal in there. That is a recent addition. And I threw a Vortex Diamondback HP 4-16x42 scope on top. This is probably going to get replaced with either something from Arken or a little higher end Vortex scope. This one has a little bit of a small eye box that's not 100% ideal for hunting, but it worked just fine this year. I took my biggest buck ever with this rifle at 100 yards, and he ran at me and piled up dead about 15 yards in front of me. One of the coolest hunting experiences I've ever had in my life, and I will be sharing the whole thing with you before too long. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on video, but I did do a short about it a little while back if you want to go check that out. A few complaints I have about the Howa Mini are, this is the 20-inch barreled version with the heavier profile barrel. I really wish they offered a 20-inch light profile barrel. I may end up getting either the Howa Carbon Stalker, though it's insanely expensive, or buying a 22-inch light barrel and getting it cut down. Or we could just rebarrel it all together. Who knows what's going to end up happening with the Howa Mini. But I would like it to be a little bit lighter and the action a little bit smoother. Hear that? Yeah. Like I say, I may work on it myself, or I may sell it off and get a slightly different model. But I absolutely love this rifle. The recoil from it, even with really hot hand loads, is extremely mild. Spotting your shots is no problem whatsoever. It is a ton of fun to shoot, and I think the next thing I'm going to do with it is take it out to long range with some target loads and see how it does there. It's got a really decent trigger, though the light's fading enough so you're not going to be able to see the trigger blade there. Anyway, really decent trigger. I'm guessing 3 pounds, maybe 3.5 pounds. I could do with a little bit lighter, but it is a nice single stage trigger. Does have some over travel. It could be improved. I know a lot of folks put the Rifle Dynamics or Rifle Basics, don't remember for sure, one of those upgraded triggers in this and have good luck with it, but it's plenty good for my purposes. That is the Howa Mini 6.5 Grendel. There's a few honorable mentions I could put on this list, but we're just going to keep it to those 6 guns for this video. I have had an amazing time in the shooting sports and hunting in 2023. I hope you all have as well. And I hope you've enjoyed this quick rundown on 6 of the coolest guns I was able to buy in 2023. Hope your new year is fantastic and your hunting seasons are going well. Thanks again for watching. Y'all have a good one.